Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask the Wizard After Dark. I'm your host, Russ, aka The Wizard. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Ask the Wizard After Dark. I'm your host, Russ, aka The Wizard. It's a Monday morning, the first day of our broadcast week. We are on, I believe, either week 6 or week 7 of the regular broadcasting of the Convergence Media HC network. We broadcast our first Facebook Live session. It would have been the last part of May. And so it's really interesting to see how it's evolved since that time. And of course, as you know, all our broadcasts, including this one, all our Facebook Live broadcasts, we have some mini-series that we've started now. Manifesting Minutes, another one we're going to be starting soon, which is based on Reiki. Don't have a fancy name for it yet, but we will. You can find all of our programming broadcast through my personal Facebook profile, so facebook.com/russ.lito, Littau. You can also search for the hashtag Convergence Media HC, and you will find all our programming. We're also building an archive on our website, www.russlito.com. You can always contact me there, just russ@russlito.com. You can send me a message on Twitter @russlito. Facebook, of course, search for Russ Lito. So as long as you remember that, you can find me anywhere. And I encourage you, if you have comments about the shows, and many of you have, and that's just perfect, to comment if you have a suggestion for a topic, which we will often get, again, from you, the listeners, and we're so appreciative of that. Things that frustrate you, things that you're curious about, things that you would like to receive a little bit of source wisdom relating to it. Let me know, because that's what all this programming is for. We're all in this together, and we grow and we heal and we learn together. And that's what is so important. If you happen to be listening to this show live, you will see a spot where you can type in text. You can send a bit of a message. I receive it on my console. I would love to interact with you during the show as well. And of course, as you know, the After Dark series runs at 11:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, just about every night. There's the odd night I haven't done a show, but it's pretty close to every night. The Ask the Wizard Facebook Live broadcasting is every weekday, so Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Each Wednesday, we have the different shows. So on one Wednesday, we have the Russ and Tracy show with myself and Tracy Yeager. Alternating Wednesdays, we have the Straight Shooters with myself and Greg Dixon. Source wisdom came through, as it always does, in our broadcast this morning on Facebook. And I was talking about and teaching on how when we take those steps into the manifesting of a dream or desire, how so often we receive resistance, we receive obstacles are placed in our way. And the resistance and these obstacles invariably are 180 degrees opposed to the direction that we want to go. And what is so unsettling and frustrating for so many people, including myself, is that often these problems, these obstacles didn't show up until we started to step into our dreams. And then they showed up. And it's almost like when it happens, we ask ourselves the question, well, where did that come from? I've never had this fill in the blank until I started really stepping out and really pursuing some dreams and desires that are very dear to me. And now the problem shows up. What's the deal? And I teach about why that happens. And really some very valuable and source wisdom came through, as I said, as it always does. And some really valuable techniques on understanding what's happening and to manage our way through it. And what I heard was, it was towards the beginning of the broadcast, what I heard source wisdom say was, especially in the beginning, it won't be difficult to find friends who will support you in quitting. And I actually stopped the broadcast when I heard that. I thought about it for a minute because I thought, wow, that's such a profound truth, a profound teaching. Now, here's what source wisdom meant by this. So there tends to be two schools of thought in this particular aspect of manifesting law of attraction, again, whatever labels you wish to use. One of them is when you choose and decide on a dream or a desire, you actually share that with people. Now, the logic behind that, or the reasoning behind that, is if you share it with people, first of all, you're speaking it out, and I totally agree with that. And the other piece is, if you speak it out to other people, there's this heightened degree of accountability because you've actually told people that this is what I'm doing now. And so now there's that inherent accountability. Well, I've told people I'm going to do this, so they can hold me accountable. I'm holding myself accountable, and therefore I'll be more motivated to do it. Then there's the other school of thought. The other school of thought says, especially in the beginning, to keep your dreams and your desires to yourself. That's the school of thought that I live in. And here's why. When we start to take those steps into the really, like the biggies, right? It's not just a minor little tweak on our experience, but something that's really near and dear to us. It has probably resided in our heart for a long time, and we're just now choosing to step into it and to start to take those initial steps. And so, and I actually used this wording in the description for the announcement of this broadcast, those first often timid, tentative steps. You see, because this is a big deal. You see, one of the reasons that people don't take those steps is, you see, if their dream stays within them, then it's safe. But if you start to take those steps, those external steps, what if when you do that, you fail? Right? What if when you take those steps, it doesn't come to pass? And at least if you just keep it within your heart, it's safe, because it's like you never know, right? You'll never know, and it's just safe in there, right? But dreams aren't designed to live exclusively within our heart. They're designed to be expressed in our personal experience. So when we take those first steps, first of all, we usually don't have any forward momentum. So what I mean by that is we're just starting to kind of take these steps. So we don't have a lot of momentum or experience behind us to kind of help keep us going. And so it's almost like a little seedling. You plant the seed, and the seedling starts to break through the surface of the earth. And you can't just take that seedling and go put it out in the garden in this brilliant, bright sunlight and hot temperature, because it's just too sensitive yet. It needs to be sheltered and protected until it can grow a little bit more. It can develop a bit of a root system. So then it can take the heat and the wind and the rain and whatever may be presented to it. So when you take your first steps into your dreams and desires, the same thing happens. And you see, so often when we share it with other people. And it's not that they intentionally try and squash your dreams. But, and this is what really spoke to me, so often they're all too willing to support you in quitting. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, which is topics for another broadcast. But for now, just understand that, especially in the beginning, you're not going to have a lot of momentum. So you want to protect those. And for me, anyway, if you are going to share it, be very, very selective as to who you share it with. Only there was one or two people that you really, really trust, and no matter how fantastic this dream and desire that you're stepping into, that they're going to support you in it. Because so often, when we start to speak it out, that we'll hear all the reasons why it won't work. All the reasons why it's too late or too early, is too this, is too that. And so then it's really, really easy for us to listen to that and go, yeah, they're right. You see, because often when we take that first step, it's not going to make sense, quote unquote sense. Because that's what a dream or desire is. By definition, it doesn't make sense. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a dream. And so when we share that with others, they're going to apply quote unquote common sense to that. And you're going to hear all the logical reasons why it's just foolhardy to continue down this path. And because you don't have that momentum, because your dream is just this little seedling, it's going to be very easy for it to be squashed. And so for me, in the beginning anyway, how about just keeping your first action plan between you and the universe? Just the two of you for a while. At least until it gains some momentum. And if you are going to share it with people, be very selective as to who you share it with. At least until you can get some momentum and some experience behind you. Because it's a big deal. Taking that first step is a big deal, and good for you for doing it. And it's just so sad in many ways that so often those dreams get squashed before they ever have a chance to mature and bear fruit. Don't be one of those people. Keep it between you and the universe. And when it's time, you won't have to tell people because they'll just see it. And that makes all the difference in the world. You've been listening to another episode of Ask the Wizard After Dark. I'm your host, Russ Leteau, a.k.a. The Wizard.